a moral phenomenon, only moral interpretations from it, I agree with that, but if you use the word rape for that, then my question to you is, are you using that because we just don't do that, and it's a moral horror in our culture, or is there some objective way to step outside the system and use that label rape?
The term I would go with rape would be, I guess, consent, the need for consent, because kids don't know what the form of consent
Right.
for that is.
So you would use that word, and would you use that, my point is there a way to objectively figure that out, or you're only saying that because you're American situated as you are?
No, just more of, I tend to see all sides of the spectrum, but at the same time, there's always gonna be some give and take.
Okay, so is the phenomenon morally wrong of a 40-year-old man sleeping with, yes or no?
To me, yes.
Well, wait a second, why did you add to you? Now, is it objectively wrong? Can we make an objective moral judgment independent of culture that says this behavior is morally wrong? Yes or no? Not to you, objectively.
Objectively, I want to say yes, but it's probably gonna end up being no.
Okay, I'm just curious, can I press you a little bit on this?
Sure.
What if there's a majority of people who dislike a minority of people? Like, let's say they're Jews, and we want to start setting up gas chambers. No, this is the essence of the whole point, right?
Yeah.
Or maybe Jews are too far. Let's say some other minority. Armenians, yes. No extra credit for you. And you know, my friend was telling me that his grandfather was in the Holocaust. He was a perpetrator of the Holocaust, and his dying words were, "We didn't get them all." So, is there a way to objectively say that genocide or killing off a race of people is objectively wrong, like the Jews in Nazi Germany, or is that just like happenstance? Is it just kind of, we in our culture, we just, we're not really big fans of genocide, but these people are fans of genocide, so we're, that's cool. Just, live and let live. Or maybe not in that case. Is there a way to make an objective judgment about that?
That one's kind of stuck with it. I mean, obviously, from their point of view, yes, do it.
Are they wrong? Can they be morally wrong about that?
I would say mainly in the way they go about it. Like gas chambers.
They should go about it in a different way and then be morally correct. Like if they just shot them instead of gassing them.
No weaponry or biological involved.
Oh, so they had to, like if they strangle them, it's okay. No, I'm trying, oh, so if they relocate them, it's okay, but if they murder them, it's not okay.
That would be to me, yes. But obviously from their story.
So you're saying if a society decides that as a particular minority that they find detestable, it's objectively morally wrong to commit genocide.
Yeah.
Okay, good. We found something. We're now ready to advance the conversation. So why can't you say that in the same way that if you're sitting there watching TV one night and you have a black neighbor and the Ku Klux Klan comes and burns a cross on your lawn, why can't the same mechanism of judgment be invoked and say, the people doing this are morally wrong? Or are you just going to be like, well, that's just their life, I have my life, I'm just going to keep drinking my beer and watching, The Expanse or whatever you're watching. I mean, isn't the method of judgment, the mechanism the same? Say it out loud. Yes or no?
Yeah.
Yeah, there we go. Yeah.
Just on the example you just gave, you can use their own morals to prove that they're morally wrong. The Ku Klux Klan generally being based on roughly Catholic Christian, but also not.
Well, they don't like Catholics, so they used to not like
Catholics.
Catholics.
Like I said, that should be Christian. Yeah, but you got to point out with their own morals that they're.
Okay, so let's talk about that. So with morality and moral relativism, which is what we're talking about today, one aspect of relativism, and that's the reason hopefully people,
8 minutes.
so that there's something to be wrong about. In the same way that there's something to be wrong about, you know, ordering a nitro grande and they, you know, black, and they give me a decaf espresso, like, or something, there's just something to be wrong about. So with morality, there's a fact of the matter. And if somebody doesn't get the fact of the matter, they're incorrect about that. You know, don't say yes if you don't, yeah, don't say yes if you don't agree.
Oh, sorry, I was trying to understand, I thought you were gonna keep talking, I was trying to.
No, sorry.
I mean, that's an interesting question, it's hard to say, because I think on some certain matters, there's definitely objective morality, correctness, and non-correctness.
That's all we need.
But in other situations, if there isn't necessarily a best, there might not objectively be
Okay.
better morality.
But that's all we need, because once we have the genocide, the people who hate, you know, burn crop, once you get that, you can scaffold that, right?
Yeah.
You can build upon, was you gonna say that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was going to say, I think that we should draw a distinction between the moral culpability of the individual versus the moral culpability of the society. So the individual, like take the Iranians cutting themselves for, or let's use something more extreme. Take German citizens during World War II
Yeah.
that were brainwashed into believing that Hitler was the great savior of the German people and
Right.
whatnot. As individuals, they don't know any better because that's what they've been taught and has been, especially the youth, has
Right.
been really beaten into their mind.
Right.
Whereas the society is perfectly culpable for making such objectively incorrect conclusions about the moral aspect of reality.
Yeah, can we simplify that, or can we frame it like this? At the very least, to deny another human being dignity, independent of any cultural consideration, can be considered morally wrong.
Yes. I agree.
Can we agree that that's the basis of,
I would deny a Nazi.
would you really?
I would deny them, if they genuinely believe that, I don't think they deserve dignity.
Really? And that's really interesting to me.
So like if they've rejected signing the social contract, so to speak, then it is not incumbent upon us to reaffirm the social contract onto them.
If they're not gonna submit to it, why should we
Right.
submit them?
All right, did you want to answer that?
I think what I was gonna say is kind of what you were saying. There's an interesting, I don't know, like sort of practical problem with having a set of objective moral rules that apply to, you know, like, sorry, I need to find my line. Having an objective set of moral rules, you know, treating people in a way that reflects those moral rules, but then not changing the way you treat them when they
Okay.
break those rules. Because at that point, you know, anytime it's in someone's self-interest to break those rules for whatever reason, you're essentially incentivizing them to do that, because you're still gonna treat them with the same considerations.
Okay, let me toss out this in the few minutes we have left to you. Two things. There was quite a debate now in Europe about whether or not people who were in ISIS, and we don't really know what happened there, can should be allowed back to Europe to re-enter and reintegrate. There's some interesting programs in Malmö, Sweden, for example. There's interesting kind of programs. Recidivation is not the right word, but desistance from an insane ideology. So here's the thing. Here's what I'm going to throw out to you. So in the Theaetetus, Plato says, or Socrates says, that people don't knowingly do or believe bad things. They believe something because they have a certain set of information. But if they had another set of information, they would believe different things. I think that's pretty true, right? I think it's fairly obvious. But okay, so, you know, Nazis, ISIS, whoever you want to talk about, why should we, there are multiple things going on here, and the words we use are very important, but why would we deny somebody dignity if they operated if they tried to discharge a moral impulse they had based upon the information they had? That's my first question. My second question is, are you at all concerned about what it says about you or what it says about the society in which you live if you deny people dignity based upon a belief they had about reality which is factually incorrect?
Well, I use the Nazis very specifically
Okay.
because I don't believe those that were not just like mind-washed in their youth. I do believe that they had factual information to know what they were doing was wrong. So I don't believe that most of the Germans actually thought that they were right.
Okay, so let's pause on that right there. You remember the example of phrenology that I gave?
Yes.
They had factual, they used a process that did not, I told you, my mentor said something very interesting to me, Frank Wesley, 97. He said when he was interned in Buchenwald, he was picked up on Kristallnacht, he said that the younger Nazis treated him brutally, whereas the older Nazis were nicer to him. And the older Nazis were nicer to him because they didn't view being a Jew as a bloodline. They viewed it as a religion and as a choice. Whereas the younger Nazis viewed it as a bloodline, something, if you were Jewish, it was in you. And we had to kill the thing in you as opposed to something you could just move in and out of. So, if somebody is operating from a set of assumptions about the world, and they're doing what they think is the right thing to do, what would be the best way, why would denying that person dignity be the best way to approach them?
If they really thought that what they're doing is right,
Yeah.
I suppose it still would be, but that's why I said the Nazis. I genuinely don't believe they thought what they were doing was right. And that's
Oh,
why I
have
think
a-
they've lost the right to dignity. If you do
yeah.
something that you think self-advantages yourself while being morally wrong, you have lost the right to
So
dignity.
you're not saying that you thought that they did that because it was a morally bad thing to do?
Those that were actually like in the knowledge, proper tier, definitely were.
You thought that they thought it was they were acting morally wrong?
No one, I can't be convinced, and this is me, I
Yeah.
can't be convinced that someone genuinely believes exterminating someone else's race is good moralistically.
Oh, I can tell you with unequivocal, so we have the unequivocal testimony of people who are like morally gleeful at what they've done.
I have a genuine distrust of those people.
With good reasons. All right, we'll see everybody.